Slow down, everyone, you're moving too fast. That's a little verse song from Jack Johnson. Slow down, you move too fast. Frames can't catch you when you're moving like that. Frames being photos. Do you often feel like you're rushing, you're hustling, you're constantly striving, speeding up to get somewhere? I believe that we were taught to hustle, and hustle turned to hurrying, hurry turned to rushing, and we seem to be on this endless continuum. And my mind immediately goes to the metaphor of the hamster on the wheel. So cliche, but so right on. If you're getting this podcast, chances are you are midlife and you have felt this constant rush. Maybe you feel burned out. I want to give you a heartfelt welcome to the Austin James Haynes podcast on the banks of Lake Ontelanee. I had the pronunciation. Lake Ontelanee. Lake Ontelanee. This lake was created through a dam to create a healthier, larger water supply, and it's owned by the city of Reading, PA. It's in Berks County, Pennsylvania, and the name of the creek that was dammed escapes me. Perhaps I'll put that in the show notes. I want you to stay with this podcast. I have something that is going to draw you into this idea of slowing down through deep breathing. I'm going to share with you this ancient text. It's a stone inscription about what deep breathing can do. And then that's the pause and breathe that we talk about on the show, and linking the deep breathing to slowing down, moving at a peaceful pace. If you haven't done so, take a moment to pause and breathe. And every time I invite you to do that, I remind you to let your belly expand so your lungs and your lings as it breathes up, almost as if on cue to remind us to breathe in and that exhale through the mouth. Sometimes we need that strong exhale. Sometimes we can breathe in nice and slow and elongate that exhale, and sometimes it's that forceful exhale. And perhaps this exhale of this wind, this metaphor, this connection, that wind blowing through, is to release those leaves that are hanging on, those leaves that need to be dislodged to find their way back to the soil. And perhaps in you, that exhale is a way to release those leaves of thought and beliefs that no longer serve you in your midlife season. This is a stone inscription from 500 BC. It's the Zhou dynasty. Zhou. You could say it's pronounced Zhou. It's spelled Z-H-O-U, dynasty of Chinese lineage, if you will. It says this: in transporting the breath, the inhalation must be full. When it is full, it has big capacity. When it has big capacity, it can be extended. When it is extended, it can penetrate downward. When it penetrates downward, it will become calmly settled. When it is calmly settled, it will be strong and firm. When it is strong and firm, it will germinate. When it germinates, it will grow. When it grows, it will retreat upward. As we welcome in the breeze again, the exhale retreating upward, right? When it retreats upward, it will reach the top of the head. And when it reaches the top of the head, the secret power of providence moves. The secret power of providence moves above. The secret power of earth moves below. He who follows this will live. He who acts against this will die. This is poetic in and of itself. It's poetic and powerful, and it runs deep. And I take away from this so many things. But for you, when we breathe deep, there's this, think about this connection to earth, this grounding, but yet simultaneously providence moving above. And the word germinate. I have a confession for you. As I was preparing, my mind begins to race just as yours does. And the irony is that as I was writing this in my journal, transcribing it, it's from the book Breath, by the way. I want to call where I found this. I found it in the book Breath by James Nestor, which is a great read for those of you that want to go deeper. As I was writing it, I was racing and my breath was a little shallow. And so I paused to breathe, pause and breathe, exactly what I talk about. I slowed down. So as I was writing it, I'm going through the process. And this is where life can be this flow. We can be thinking we have it wrong, or we can say when we have it wrong, it's an invitation for reconnection, and that's what happened. And as I went through it, I took those deep breaths, extended it, it penetrated downward in me. It became calmly settled. It was strong and firm. And then this podcast began to germinate more in seeds of infinitude. And there's the connection. When that deep breath happens, seeds are awakened. They're subtle. You may not know exactly what they're going to be, but you give them the opportunity to sprout. Providence, the secret power of providence moves above. The secret power of earth moves below. And think about those seeds that through that deep breath, you're awakening this potential in you through this pause and breathe in your midlife. You're putting aside everything that you thought you knew to make room for what's there, and it's been there all along. And you connect deeply through this breath. You get out of the rush and the hurry and the constant strive and drive. You step out of the rhythm of the world, which is obsessive, constant, stressful, constricting, chase and race, strive and drive, constantly. In one moment of pause and breathe, the blood begins to move in a different way. The fluid moves through your spine as you breathe deep. Your nervous system begins to fire differently. And if you can put yourself out in natural sunlight, the pineal gland activates. Intuition is unlocked. Clarity is clearer or revealed. You tap into your seeds of infinitude. authenticity doesn't need external validation in this present moment. Calm. You move forward from a place of peaceful power, present, poised, passionately, on purpose. And this is a poem that I wanted to share with you that is autobiographical in some respects. I moved fast to get to where I needed to go. I hustled day and night, and everyone came to know. I was on the move to finally make things right. But was all the struggle really worth the fight? Now it's time to intensify my speed. I double down, striving to achieve. But as I get closer, the prize moves away. My plan is foiled. Where did I go astray? As the pain sets in, this sudden moment is real. Fast is not fast, for I made the wrong deal. Slow and thorough is the right way to go. Even the Navy SEALs live by this motto. I finally discovered the truth at last. Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. That's a poem I wrote called Fast and Slow, or Ode to the Navy SEALs, because slow is smooth and smooth is fast is the Navy SEALs motto. Many of us can get roped into hustle and grind culture, and especially when we think of David Goggins, who's a former Navy SEAL, that guy seems like he's always hustling and grinding and pushing and rushing and hurrying. But at his core, he's slow as smooth and smooth as fast. And I'm bringing that to you today. If you're in that hustle culture and you want to strive and achieve, there's a better way. Now, because you may listen to my poem and go, well, isn't that what it's about? But for me, I was in a state of anxiousness, thinking that when I got to the future destination, that was going to fix it. I wasn't working on the here and the now. I wasn't connecting deeply to the earth while Providence moved above. I was rushing out of rhythm to get there. And have you ever wanted something so bad? Maybe it was a woman or a man or a goal or a job, and you were doubling down to get what you need, but then it was like vapor. They left. They didn't want to be with you. The job went to someone else. The business that you spent your life failed. And this is why on this podcast, this is about reinventing your midlife in an unexpected way. This is about opening up to the unexpected. I don't want you to lean initially on what you know. It's about connecting deeper, and then some of those things that you've learned will come back in a different way, and they'll integrate differently because you're coming from a different place. I'm coming from a different place. Deeper connection, peaceful power, flow. But those old tendencies can come back, and when they do, you're different. Your reaction is different. You choose to respond differently. And if for some reason you don't, and you get caught into the buzz of the world, the moment you recognize it, you come back. You find that deep breath inside of you, and you go back to this. I'm going to read this one more time. In transporting the breath, the inhalation must be full. When it is full, it has big capacity. When it has big capacity, it can be extended. Think of expansion, extension. When it is extended, it can penetrate down. Think about rooting down, grounded. When it penetrates downward, it becomes calmly settled. Think about that inner core that's calm. When it is calmly settled, it will be strong and firm, like the roots of the oak or the redwood. When it is strong, firm, it will germinate, awakening those seeds of infinitude. When it germinates, it will grow. When it grows, it will retreat upward from a different grounded place. When it retreats upward, it will reach the top of the head. The secret of providence moves above, the secret of earth moves below. You are connected between the two, and you're in the divine rhythm. He who follows this will live, he who acts against this will die. And there's more to this, which I'll go in later, but I want to close this by saying, how does rushing manifest in our lives? I remember there was a time when I was rushing. I had put shoes, I needed extra shoes to bring with me, and I put them on the roof of the car because I was loading up, and I forgot that the shoes were up there because I was in such a hot rush. And then I saw this thing blow off. I'm like, what was that? It was my shoe. It literally blew off the roof into the air. Have you ever left something on the roof of your car because you were in a rush? Have you ever spilled coffee on somebody, or not coffee, or a drink? Have you ever tripped? Have you ever done something because you were stressed? How has hurrying manifested in your life or your career? And are you ready to move slow? Are you ready to adopt the Navy SEAL motto, slow is smooth and smooth is fast? Pause and breathe. Thank you for being with me today on the Austin James Haynes podcast. I want to encourage you to follow along, allow your midlife reinvention to happen in an unexpected way through poetry, nature, experiential learning, deep inspiration, new perspectives to awaken those seeds of infinitude that are already in you. And all we need to do is wake them up so they can germinate. Thank you for being here. If you're on the video, I'm going to stay a little bit longer. We're going to do another pause and breathe. I'll pan around to the sun on my left shoulder. And we'll listen to the breeze, the waves rippling behind me as they come up on the bank of Lake Ontelanee. There we go, Lake Ontelanee. Pause and breathe. Thanks for being here. Please share this with somebody who's midlife, who needs to reinvent, going through a transition. We have so much more for you. We're just getting started. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.